Hi, guys. My name's Grant. I was hoping you could give a little insight or expand on this thought that I'm having. It's in relation to the sacrificial system and Christ's sacrifice. I've been having conversations with my family and friends about them, and they hold the belief that the sacrificial system was done away with at Christ's crucifixion or his resurrection. And I'm not so sure on that. I've pointed out things in the New Testament, like where the apostles are participating in the temple services. The author of Hebrews seems to indicate that the Levitical priesthood is still active. The Old Testament passages that talk about the millennium and the sacrifices seeming to return, which they are not happy when I bring those up. It just seems like an automatic pushback of like there's just no possibility that they could return because it would spit in the face of Christ. It would undo his.
I want to pause here. First of all, a couple of things need to be said. Number one, even within Torah observance, people use the term pronomian. A lot of people use the term one law, whatever you want to say. You know, our detractors usually just throw the label Hebrew roots on there, whatever you want to do. Even within the Torah movement at large, just put it under that huge umbrella, there are many people who do not believe there will be another temple and believe that the sacrificial system was done away with when Christ died and rose again, that was the final sacrifice and there should be no more. And I don't know if there's like footnotes on this somewhere where everybody's getting the same words, but every time I talk to a Christian on this and they think that the temple Christ's death and resurrection did away with the temple service, they use the same terminology. It would be spitting on the cross or spitting in the face of Christ for sacrifices to return. So it's always the same thing. Spitting on the cross or spitting in the face of Christ is the terminology that's used. I don't know if people like watch a video and that terminology is used or not. I don't know why it's always the same, but that's the terminology I always hear. And it should also be noted that like the term pronomian, Greg Bonson's the first one that I know of who used that term in the introduction to his book, By the Standard. And he says in that, like using that phrase, he actually references this belief. He says there are those who are pronomian, and that pronomian is a wide scale from those who believe that the law is a good thing and has great ideas in it, all the way to those who believe that the temple and sacrifices will be reinstated. I think, and I'm just kind of spitballing here, I think that the large amount of the idea that the sacrificial system is done away with Christ's death comes from a want to chop first of all, a need to get rid of the sacrificial system. Ultimately, like, how do we say that the sacrificial system is done away with? We have to be able to say that because there's no temple and we can't sacrifice anymore. How do we get rid of it? Well, then then the idea is, we break the Torah up into civil, ceremonial, and moral. Greg Bonson wanted to say that, and many Presbyterians today want to say that the civil aspects of the Torah are still in act. So they're bringing in moral and civil, whereas they're trying to get rid of ceremonial. Bonson was one of these, right? Bonson wants to get rid of the ceremonial aspects of the Torah, but he wants to retain the civil and moral aspects. So I think that mainstream Christianity, and even those who are in the Torah movement, when they say that the ceremonial aspects are done away with, I think that there's multiple things going on in that thought process, but ultimately this is heavily ingrained into Christianity. 2,000 years, right? 2,000 years is that it has told the Christian church, no, the ceremonial aspects, the sacrificial system is done away with. Now, our friend here, he hits on all of the main points. Paul, 20 years after he writes Galatians and Romans, goes to the temple to sacrifice. Why would he do that? If the sacrificial system is spitting on the cross of Christ, then why would Paul do that? He's already written Romans and Galatians. He must know, right? You have the Jerusalem Council telling Paul to go to the temple and sacrifice with other people. Why would they do that if the sacrificial system is spitting on the cross of Christ? And of course, our friend also brings up the notion of like Ezekiel's temple. Ezekiel 41 through 46, and the idea that there's this temple that's going to come back, and there's going to be all these sacrifices made, including sin sacrifices, right? The prince makes sin sacrifices for the people, right? So, I mean, there's just a lot that could be said. I think that the weight of evidence clearly is in the idea that there would be another temple. However, people's mindset has been so ingrained with the idea that the sacrifices have been done away with, they have to brush all of that under the rug somehow. Thank you so much for watching this video. Tell us your thoughts on this subject by leaving a comment in the comment section. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and enable those notifications. And we'll see you in the next video.